It is another edition of the On the Mic podcast, and the Bellator 302 coverage rolls on. And after the first time I had him on, every time he fought after that, I was going to try and have him back on the show. He's one of my favorite fighters anywhere, no matter what promotion they're in, but also one of the best out of Ireland. So, he's got a special place in my heart, the one and only Ciaran Clarke. Sir, how are you?
All's good. Thanks very much, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super excited for you. Super excited for you to also get back in there. Obviously there was a waiting period while everything was going on, leading into PFL and Bellator. What were the days, weeks, months off like for you? Was there a lot of uncertainty, or were you just continuing to train and let things play out and you'll figure it out when you get contacted?
So it was actually before the last fight. That's when the uncertainty was there, because obviously I was out of contract after that fight. It would have been expired, say, the November. It would have been 2 years. I was with the promotion in my second contract, so that was when the uncertainty was. After the fight, which was very surprising to me, was the Tuesday after the fight. I was offered a Bellator contract, and I was like, what's going on here? Like, I thought they were getting sold and PFL's after taking over, and so that was a surprise. So yeah, like that was, I suppose, it was nice to get that news. But then going forward, then obviously we got a bit of clarification then over kind of December when, obviously when the PFL owner come on, Ariel Hawani and stuff, and started talking, and you know, we kind of got a bit more, clarification what's going on, and now it's great. There's a lot more opportunities out there. We're all PFL fighters, as we're told. Whether that be you're still fighting under the Bellator promotion on the night, Bellator Champion Series, or whether it may be, or obviously we're seeing the likes of some of my teammates, Pedro Cavallo, Daniele Scatisi, fighting for PFL, so Nathan Kelly obviously being a PFL fighter coming over to fight for Bellator. And again, like I said, we're all PFL fighters, so more opportunities, a little bit more less clear cut. There's no ranking say anymore now. But again, like that, they're still doing their title fights, they're still doing their tournaments, so it's all good, So yeah, happy to be getting another fight in next week's time.
So to kind of like just give the listeners and viewers a inside look at things. So you get this Bellator contract at any point when the sale was official. So coming into 2024, was there ever a conversation about, hey, do you want to remain on Bellator or do you want to be a part of the PFL season? Was there anything like that presented to you?
Well, when I signed the contract, it was all Bellator. It was all, the contract was the same as Bellator. I was dealing with Bellator people. So I think just before the sale, or just when it was sold, I was dealing with the Bellator guys. So whether that was like secure me a spot there, or whether that was, obviously secure my future, with the promotion. And then when the takeover happened, then obviously then that was, it was PFL. But definitely now when the fight contracts come over and how everything's been organized now and stuff, and it's all PFL. It's all new to me. It's all, on the night we'll be all wearing our uniform style, which I'm a fan of. You're only allowed two sponsors on the fight kits, yada yada. It's all PFL ran. So, but when I was dealing with the initial contract, re-signing of the initial contract, it was all Bellator. So, yeah, that's how things going. And like I said, we're all PFL fighters. Whether you fight in the night and you have a B in your glove, or you fight in the night with a PFL, we're all PFL.
It is a great time, but I do want to ask, sticking with Bellator, and we'll talk about your Bellator 302 fight here in a moment. But when you say when the takeover happened, I think the takeover happened the first event because Bellator fighters, especially on the main card, put on a show. And I've asked almost every Bellator fighter this. You especially have been one of the marquee names, especially on the international, the European side for Bellator. Did you take a little sense of pride going, "That's our roster. Those are our guys. Look what we can do"?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And to be honest, it wasn't too much of a shock. To be honest, I think the one that would have been more interesting would have been Just to see it would have been probably the Jason Jackson fight with that kind of Russian. I would have liked to see that. I think that there might have been one more pull from that. I think it was Pitbull and the Jesus guy. I
Yeah.
would have liked to have seen that. I'm not too sure about Jesus. I'm not like obviously he's a tournament winner, and he's beaten Brendan Loughnane, who had a rate very high, very high. But that would have been interesting. But to be honest, for me, it wasn't much of a surprise. I did know how good we are. I think obviously the Beta lost, but like I think it was, Beta's coming up from light heavy. He's naturally light heavyweight, and that guy's naturally a massive, massive heavyweight. So, yeah, it didn't come as a surprise. And yeah, like that, there was definitely one or two matches I would have wanted to see the Jesus and Pitbull, and then the Russian and the Jason Jackson. Because again, like that, I think Jackson really went up in my estimation, and everybody's when he beat when he beat the Ukrainian, when he beat Amazov. So that would have been really interesting.
What about you now? Because now you're with Bellator, like you said, everyone's on their PFL. But like I just said, and I'm not just saying it, I truly believe it. You watch any of your fights, you listen to the broadcast, it's kind of written out there for you. You're one of the best young stars Bellator has had, and you continue to climb up the ranks. And you've been with Bellator. Are you a little more prideful, continuing to fight not only for Bellator, but knowing that they're gonna have most of their fights international now, and that kind of leads you to travel more, kind of get more eyes on you. That's one thing that everyone I've talked to coming into this event has said is that whether it's PFL or Bellator, no matter what, we have more eyes on us now, and that is true. But do you take a little more sense of pride of still being a Bellator guy and maybe being a part of their events this year?
Yeah, big time, and like that, they've always been good to me, and I've earned my dues with them. I've done the hard yards when it comes to the promotion. I don't have to get into it, but like I've earned the spot. I'm here now, and it's I'm just happy to be where I am. I've been obviously we got me opportunities in Ireland. I've had one fight internationally, professionally, but now it's time. I think like don't get me wrong, it's definitely a change of scenery now up in Belfast. It's just north for me, but um, I definitely them after bringing out their schedule this year, the Bellator side of it. Um, I think they have Dublin in June, which would probably be too close to this one for me. And I did say when I re-signed, I would like to. I don't want to do Dublin again. Not that I don't want to do it again, but I felt I was going to the well too many times with the event and even just the ticket sales and things like that. Like I felt I needed I needed to spread my wings. You know what I mean? And venture elsewhere and to build that buzz again of coming back. That's why I think it's so good for James. James Gallagher. He fought outside of the country. It built this buzz now to come back and fight in Belfast, and it's going to be great. You know what I mean? And he has that excitement. Whereas for me, that's what I want. I want that get abroad. I seen that they have a show in San Diego in September or London in September, a week or two after. I'd love one or two of them. Obviously, I'm going to say I'd love San Diego. I'd love to make my US debut. I've been saying that this last 2 years. I'd love to really get over there with yous and get over there and fight. I fought in Vegas at the World Championships when I was an amateur. Really, really enjoyed the experience. Yeah, I just want to feel that again and like I said, spread my wings and just get more eyes on me, get more. And not that like I'm not that type of guy. I'm not in it for that, but I think these events is what would is what motivates me, and it's just even just the whole the freshness of it and the excitement of going abroad, and obviously fighting at home has its perks, but fighting abroad has its perks as well. I fought in Paris and it just felt like a glorified spar. It was just so enjoyable. It was such less media about it. Obviously being the hometown fire comes pressures, but so yeah, I really feel I'd love that now. So obviously, if the folks now next week get a win, please God, and yeah, that's it then. Just I would love San Diego in September, and obviously they have more in October. I think they're in Chicago and other places. So like they're all opportunities that I'd love to do, and that's obviously up to me next week getting the win, and that's it. We'll have a conversation after, and hopefully I'm setting myself in a good position to be, climbing that next step.
Yeah, you get no arguments from me. If you can come over stateside, I definitely go anywhere to watch you fight. I'm no longer living in Chicago, but I would go back home to watch you fight here in the States. And if James can fight in South Dakota, I think you can fight in San Diego. So, I mean,
Deadly,
there's
deadly.
nothing for him to get into out there. But and I will talk, ask about the card here in a moment. But as you talk about spreading your wings, you're 8-0. If everything goes according to plan, you go to 9-0. Now we're getting towards double digits in your career. When do you feel, will it be this year, or are you still taking the patient route, that you're going to start getting, because you said the rankings right now we don't know about, but they're still doing title fights. When do you really want to start heavily pursuing those big fights, that big title fights?
Um, I think, to be honest, that's kind of that Bellator's decision, and I'll give you a reason. Reason being because I've never said no to a fight. If they feel the next guy is a former ranked top 10 guy, or or whatever it may be, whoever they send over and they feel is worthy for me, I I sign the contract. I don't say no. It's not like I was offered guys this fight, former Cage Warriors world champions, guys that were 11-1. I've been offered in the past guys that were 12-2. This guy happens to be 5-1. I've said yes to all these guys. I've said yes to the UFC, to the guys that are in UFC now. I've said yes to them all. It's not as if like I'm in the big leagues. I'm in PFL Bellator now. I don't have to build a record to get, and not that I would have anyway. But I don't have to build to get to here. Or I'm not building a record to go contend the series or to do this or get to the. I'm already here in one of the biggest promotions in the world. They're competing with the UFC, and they're doing this is the start, but they're doing a good job. And you know what I mean, like they're getting people invested in these fights, because they can, with their roster now and their style of their format and stuff with the tournaments and stuff and what they're doing in Europe. So like that, I'm here already, So if they feel that's next for me, I'm gonna fight. That's it. And look, I'm training with like some of the best guys, in Europe, and some of the guys are, you can find, you know what I mean? Because like I'm training with UFC vets every day. I'm training with one of the best coaches in the world, John Kavanagh. I'm training with top bantamweights, Brad Katona, who's just won the Ultimate Fire. Who unfortunately didn't pick up the win the last one, but is well up there. Trust me, I know his level. I know if we've had some guys knocking in from the UFC, and I know, obviously that's, in theory in the gym and stuff, but I know, my potential, and yeah, I'm just looking, if those fights are coming for me after this, please God, to get the win, of course. I'm taking them. You know what I mean? That's where I feel. I've never said no to a fight, so it's up to Bellator where they feel maybe if I talk to them a little bit more, but that's not me. But yeah, so who knows? That's up to them.
You will be taking on Darius Mafia, as you said, 4-1 coming into this one. What do you expect to showcase in this fight?
I expect to show the improvements and the what would I say the version of myself that I know I can be in this weight class, and I want to show that you know I want to show how this division, how I'm going to take on this division, and this is the division I feel, this is my run. This is my run. This is it. This is it. Everything's coming in together now. You know, it's all coming together, and I really feel this is it now. There's nothing stopping me. Like in that sense, and yeah, I just want to show that. And I want to compete against the best guys to show that. I really feel the better the lads, the better I get to show that. So that's what I'm excited about. I'm excited about showing that how much I've come on, and this weight class, how I'm feeling it.
Well, it's set up to be a great night, especially for those representing Ireland with James, yourself, and Nathan Kelly. Just a few guys on that card, both of whom you mentioned as well. Can you explain for everyone? I'm not going to say me because I'm going to act like I know what I'm talking about, but I've never been there, so I can't. What is the biggest difference having fought so often in Dublin and now going up to Belfast?
It's to me, it's a big difference. The arena's similar size, which is not much of a difference, but it's just different. It's an excitement. I feel when, as I said, comfortability comes with so familiar for surroundings, and I understand that. But as well, that comes as well, like that comes the nerves as well, in the sense like right, this time, that time, this time, and you can obviously prepare for that. But you whereas this time is like you kind of you can't prepare for it, and there's a kind of comfort in knowing for that. It's like, oh, okay, right, this wrestling move was never hit before, or okay, right, this is how you walk out to the cage, or this is where the weigh-in's going to be. Ah, the hotel's nice, and the city's nice. I can go get a coffee here, and just it's different, you know what I mean? And all these places and cities and different places bring new experiences, and of course each fight is different and all that. But like, I don't know, it just builds excitement. It breaks the monotonous of it as well. It breaks the as I said, the Groundhog Day. Going to the well too many times. It just feels that. And don't get me wrong, I actually am a creature of habit. I could eat the same things every day for 12 weeks, which I'm doing, to be honest. I'm so regimental. But I don't know. I felt I want because you don't need excitement. You don't need excitement in your training. You know what I mean? You need enjoyment, but you need excitement when it comes to the fight. You want to be excited. You want to be that. You know, you want to have that feeling. And like that, as I said, if you felt something before, there's not much enjoyment. It's like doing anything for the first time. You know what I mean? So that's what I want to feel again, and I'm gonna get to feel that in Belfast. So it's not exactly what I would love to be out of the country and get that whole experience and different eyes still in Ireland, but like that overuse and stuff. It's where it's at. It's where the sport originating from. It's where it's all up at we use over there, And yeah, I'd love to experience that. And again, look, I'm not being greedy. I have this now in front of me, and I'm gonna relish it and enjoy it. But that's it.
Two more here for you, and I always appreciate you making time here for me. Uh, Everyone we've mentioned: Nate Kelly, Nathan Kelly, yourself, James, Carl Moore in the main event. Is Belfast going to be a stage and a highlight show for SBG?
I think so. I think it's gonna, I think it's gonna be a great night for the Northern lads. Which being Carl and James. I think there was just it was so long they were waiting for something for the likes of these lads, and it's coming for them. And it's just brilliant. You know what I mean? And I'm delighted for James and Carl, and just it'd be so amazing to cap it off with a Bellator world title for Carl. It'd be his second world title. He's already a Cage Warriors world champion. He's more than capable of doing it. I think Corey's coming to the end of his career. Carl's in the come up. It's going to be a tough fight. I think it's going to be a decision win for Carl. But I really do think um it'd be brilliant for John, the gym, another major organization, world title, and really cap it off. And then obviously then the likes of myself coming up, Nate and Kelly on the card as an amateur. Nate Kelly is a gone 10 wins in a row. I just think it'd be brilliant, man. I'm really looking forward to it. It's just going to be a great night.
It is going to be a fantastic night. Now, before I get you out of here, and thank you and all the best next week, I can't wait. Bellator always loves to do this. They love to put on shows in March in Ireland, which falls around the best holiday of the year, which happens to be this Sunday, which happens to be my birthday. I've asked
Oh no,
James
wait.
this. I've asked James this a few years ago, and I don't know that I should repeat his answer, but I'm going to ask you, what is the proper way if I was there right now? Or this Sunday, what is the proper way to celebrate St. Patrick's Day?
Well, the proper way, I would say, if you were to come to tomorrow, I would say you should try to get into Dublin City, of course. Um, you know, and I'd just probably say, because if you had asked James, me in James's position a few years ago, to say get into town early, have the Guinness flowing, enjoying it, into the traditional music, pubs, great buzz. But what I'd say now is probably get to maybe Connor's place. Connor puts on a big, big party for it, and enjoy his stout. Forged Irish stout, which is very nice. Actually, the very first pint of stout I had, believe it or not. And ever since that, I love Guinness. And I have to go back and try Connor's, but it's only exclusive to certain places. Actually, shout out to a sponsor of mine. Actually, has it on tap there at nightclub. But you know, that's what I'd say. I get into Dublin, down to Connor's place, try the steaks, try the food, enjoy the atmosphere in his pub, try the Forged Irish Stout, and enjoy the traditional music, and that's what I'd say. Obviously, the parade is great, but it's getting a little bit political, and I don't think
Yeah.
it's not what it is when I was growing up. Put it that way. So, but yeah, I think that would be the perfect day. Get in early, enjoy the points, and yeah, the music and the atmosphere.
Well, I'll do that here. Unfortunately, no Forged Irish Stout where I am, because I just moved basically to like middle of nowhere in the countryside. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, so got to get my hands, I guess, on some Guinness for now. It'll do. But Ciaran Clarke, thank you so much. And by the way, James said the same thing. He said, go out to a pub and get messed up for 2 days straight. That's exactly what he told me to do.
Oh man.
But I cannot wait. I'm so happy you're back in competing inside the Bellator cage. I'm so happy that you're just back, and I can't wait to see what 2024 holds for you. You're always a gentleman and a scholar with your time, and all the best to you. I'll save all the celebration for next Friday and Bellator 302. So no birthday party for me this weekend. I'm gonna save it for next weekend.
I love it, man. Thank you. And come here, listen. Happy birthday and enjoy it. And yeah, if you can't get the Guinness, which you should, maybe I don't know if you do this, but you do the Shamrock Shakes.
Yep. I haven't had one yet. Yeah, I gotta get one.
Yeah,
I gotta get one this
yeah.
year. I haven't
Get a
had one
Shamrock
this year
Shake.
yet. I will. Thank you so much.
Thanks, brother. Thank you.